First thing, I was living in a neighborhood where there was a football player who was playing for our hometown. And for me, it was kind of really nice seeing him going for training sessions and the games. And as I mentioned, in our hometown, I was always going applying to be the ball boy behind the goal when I was little to, collect the balls when it goes behind the goal.
Okay, yeah.
And then, in a school system in my home country for decades now. So just imagine we are speaking about, developing youth and giving opportunities to young boys and girls. So what happened that in our school system, there are always school competitions
Yeah.
in different sports, whether is it football, basketball, volleyball, handball, swimming, whatever it is. And then the first coaches, actually your teachers, sport teachers in a school,
Correct.
they monitor, actually they do this screening process and they find these talents. And then they inform throughout these tournaments,
Okay.
these local clubs who actually approach the parents and kids and say, look, we think that your kid is talented for that sport or that sport.
Okay.
And we advise you to,
Train them, yeah.
yeah, to write him into our program, and then
Okay.
it's kind of nice thing being part of football school or basketball academy or something like that.
Okay.
And then you start practicing that. You like it because you are with your friends. There are competitions, there are leagues, and then you are like a kid. Okay, you start dreaming about becoming a sportsman of the highest level. So what happened with me is that they scouted and they found throughout these tournaments that I have talent for football.
Okay.
The teacher advised my parents to get me into one club. The club accepted in that youth process. And then the club continues later throughout these generations to build up the young talents towards the senior level, which is the most important part. And throughout that process between, let's say, 12 and 18 years of age, these 6 years actually where the potential comes to the surface or not, because many boys, they abandon because it's hard, it's difficult, it's physical job. There are so many things, many sacrifices. And I went through that process in my hometown. I became very quickly a talented player in the youth, playing good games in young national teams and in competition. And actually the senior coach spotted me, and I was already, when I was 17, under contract.
Okay.
So the first love I got from my parents, and my father, who was also ex-football player, but not on the highest level. My brother was way better than me, but he never had that kind of mentality to push over those limits. So he abandoned when he was 17, 18.
Okay.
And then I continued because I wanted to become better than him.
Okay.
And I was finding motivation in certain details where, okay, I want to be better than him. I want to overcome this difficulty.
Okay.
Started playing with 17 years old with seniors. It was very tough, very difficult going through that process, growing up. And then later when I was 18, 19, the bigger team spots you during the leagues. You go to capital, you become part of the biggest club.
Okay.
And that's it. When you start that, that's it.
So that time you understood that this is going to be my career.
Yeah, when I get my first professional contract, I was dreaming and saying, okay, now I want to work hard to reach certain levels. Very quickly, when I was 18, I broke my leg for the first time. It was a huge disappointment. I got a surgery. Even was a question mark if I'm going to continue playing. And I was like, okay, I just started, now maybe I have to stop. But later on, I was playing with that knee, I say, for 18 long years.
Okay.
I broke my leg twice.
Okay.
The second time also when I was 22.
Okay.
But professional sportsmen, you have to go through that.
Yeah.
So many injuries, surgeries, MRIs, scanners, doctor visits. That's the part of it. So you have to go through all that. Parents are suffering as well. When you start going under contracts and everything, this is it. You have to do it. It's your job. And if coming from poor background, you have possibility to sustain and support your family financially by providing them better life, buying them a house or whatever it is. Yeah, you do it. So it started in my hometown thanks to those football, let's say, educational programs with the youth. And it's obvious, like for decades now, 30, 40 years ago, it's all over the world, especially in Europe. And that's why you see more and more players, especially today with developed centers, having these opportunities to become professional sportsmen. So I went through that youth educational process. It helped me build up my character, my mentality, of, let's say, fighting hard for survival, because sport is cruel. You have to fight to survive.
Okay. So, in Kerala or in India, we don't actually choose football as a career. We don't have that kind of habit, or we are not trained that way. So, what is the message that you have to give to the youth of India or to Kerala?
Whatever is happening now in India, speaking about football, that is what was happening in Europe or some other parts of the world, let's say years before.
Okay.
So this is a process. Football is a nice career. It's something healthy.
Yeah.
It's professional sport. You can have a good life. It can open many doors for you. The thing is that it can show you many things very quicker than all your generations.
Yeah.
So you can learn what does it mean to win and what does it mean to lose.
Correct.
You have to go through both processes to absorb that. Try to live with disappointment and with victory.
Yeah.
So the message is like, if you like it, you have to do it, because now it's been 12 years that ISL and I-League are cooperating, having that organization. Probably it will be improving in the time.
Yeah.
It will take time, but whoever likes it, it's why it's beautiful? Because you're doing something that you love.
Yeah.
Okay, let's be honest. How many of us, we have family members, we have neighbors or people from our community, lots of them. Many of them, they wake up in the morning early, they go for a work, they have to go to do something maybe they don't like,
Yeah.
but they have to do it because it will sustain.
Out of pressure.
Yeah, it will help the family,
Yeah.
because you have to do it.
Yeah.
Football, on the other side, it's something, you do something that you love. You're playing football, you're playing sports with your friends.
Yes.
And something that actually you love, you go every day for that. And if you get the opportunity and chance to become and to be part of that highest level, that's a chance once in a million years,
Okay, yeah.
And all the boys, whenever they get the chance, stick to that, work hard, because the line of the boys in front of the gate saying, please coach, give me one chance just to show you, without even football shoes, is huge. Yeah. Especially in India, where 1.4 billion people is present. It's very difficult to have a football career. That's why people, they don't believe in it, because it's not well developed.
Yeah. And in India, we know if I become an engineer, what will I get as a salary? And if I get a promotion, what will I get?
Or a government job or something like that.
Correct. But if I choose football as a professional career, I don't know what will I get.
There is no security.
Yeah.
That's a tricky part. That's a risky part. And it's very unsettling. The periods maybe in between when you don't have a contract, it's kind of worrying for you and your family. If you reach certain level, but passion pushes you forward. Okay. Energy and will to become, successful in that is something that's priceless, and the people can experience with a nice feeling. But I understand that many families are saying, there is no security in that. There is no money in that. Why don't you go for a study? Why don't you go for a job? Why don't you go for something that it will bring food to the table? Yeah. And these kind of things are just at the beginning in India. Okay. I hope that it will evolve quickly, because the whole world already evolves in many industries. Yeah. Football as well. You see not far away from India, World Cup happening in Qatar, and it will be in Saudi. Yes. When you see countries around you in your neighborhood doing those things, then you ask yourself, why shouldn't we do that? It is possible. Yeah. And football is invented already. So you don't have to invent new things. You just have maybe to go around, see different examples and make copy-paste, and then say, okay, let's do it for ourselves. Yeah. It's kind of courage, passion, knowledge, and responsibility to organize all that, to give possibility to kids. It's a process that will take a couple of years. But when you start creating young players, when they start playing in important teams or national teams, then you see these things like paying off in a way like, okay, you're satisfied, your community recognize that, your state or your club or whatever. Okay. And this is how it happens all around the world, especially in Europe for decades. That's why it's more developed. I hope that India and India Federation will understand that and say, let's go for it, because the one who starts it, they will be the first one, and then the others will follow. Yeah. So my advice, whether is it connected with the government or school system, whatever, it must be organized, because the kids will get better and more opportunities. And whenever they say there is no time for both, that's not true.
Yeah.
So when you are a sportsman, you have time to study. That's not the problem. Actually, me as a coach, I push younger players
Okay.
to study and to play. So I remember even not allowing some of them coming to the training session because they have bad marks in school.
Okay.
When you get good marks, then you can come back.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
because you want them to become better person as well. Because to not only we are coaching them to become football players, but also good human beings.
Okay. So, coach, what will be your future plans? Where we can see you after maybe down the line 5 years time?
Well, still I enjoy working as a coach. You never know where you can arrive or land with your job. Of course, I would like to stay maybe in a region of Gulf countries because I find it very challenging with many interesting things and projects. Personally, I'm in contact with a very quality group of people. We are busy with one project, especially like we were just mentioning, organizing and building up, creating a football academy, especially speaking about countries like United Arab Emirates or Saudi Arabia in the region, creating opportunities, especially for kids,
Okay.
kids of Indian immigrants, especially we just mentioned how it is not developed in India. So we want to provide more chances and more opportunities to kids to develop themselves through sports.
Okay.
Practicing in academies, especially football academies, where there will be great programs with the good coaches, with a good organization, where actually maybe some of them will reach one day with the dreams, maybe level of ISL or some other league in neighborhood. So the project of giving something back to the community of Kerala, especially speaking, like we said, Indian immigrants being in Emirates, having a lot of kids, so they also want to have their kids being busy with the sports and health education and many other things. So this kind of project is on the way.
Okay, that's actually a good news that we can see our Asan very near to us.
So very soon maybe we'll see more news about that.
Okay.
Where actually I will be present whenever I can with the quality people because we want to give something back. I feel obliged or obligated, how we say it, to the community of Kerala as well.
Okay.
Because marvelous 3 years I spent there, disappointed with the fact that there are no development centers for the kids. We want to do something that actually they also recognize that there is possibility. We want to pursue maybe in the beginning one path which can actually open many doors for us. Because again, sports environment, that's a healthy environment, very good people, and you never know. Maybe you can make something good out of it. I heard not long time ago one great mind, saying, in 3 parts of your life, because now he's actually in the, let's say, last part of his life, saying, in the first part you learn, in the second part of your life you earn, and then there is the last part where actually you return. So many experiences that you had, or knowledge, or whatever it is, then you try to pass as a legacy to the kids because you want them to continue having this healthy mindset or something. So this is my idea and project for the future. Maybe, having that academy developing later, who knows, maybe with the government back in India as well. So these things I like to see kids developing and being educated in the sport because it's a nice thing. Well, the football academy that will be connected with different schools in Emirates, especially with Indian kids, supported by the local government, where actually we will provide kids the sports education program in football with a quality training process from 6 till 16 in the different groups, where we'll take care about them, giving them and parents opportunity to have extra activity, having nice infrastructure where they can spend time with friends and families, where they can let their children grow up, play, train, practice, develop, and something that will be, let's say, very useful for the whole community, where the community and the local authorities will